Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. 50-year-old fatally stabs man flees Jamaica, held and deported on Christmas. 5 years after 31-year-old Toloma Thomas was stabbed to death at Upper Oxford Street, Kingston 14, a 50-year-old man of the same address has been charged with his murder. He is Omar Burford, otherwise called Guns and Gunners. The police said Burford was arrested overseas and deported on December 21. He was handed over to local law enforcers and charged with the murder on Christmas Day. Reports from the Denham Town Police are that in September 2018, Thomas and Burford were at their Upper Oxford Street address when an argument developed between them. The argument reportedly escalated and became physical. During the tussle, a knife was used to inflict multiple stab wounds to Thomas' head and neck. Thomas was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Burford was arrested overseas and deported to Jamaica last week. A court date has not yet been finalized for the accused. Old Harbour Bay man shot multiple times while heading home. A man was shot multiple times by gunmen while making his way home in Old Harbour Bay, St. Catherine, Monday night. The injured man remains in hospital. His attackers are being sought by the police. The police report that about 11:40 p.m., the man was riding his bike along a dirt track on his way home when he was pounced upon by 3 gunmen who opened fire. He was hit several times, including the abdomen. The gunmen then escaped in the area. Residents then took the injured man to the Spanish Town Hospital, where he was admitted for treatment. The police were summoned, and upon arrival at the scene, several spent casings were discovered. The Old Harbour Criminal Investigations Branch is investigating. 6 people arrested after guns seized in police operation. The Kingston Eastern Police on Monday seized a 9mm pistol along with a magazine containing 2 9mm cartridges along the Bull Bay Main Road. 6 people were taken into custody. The police report that about 12:37 p.m., acting on information, a team of lawmen signaled the driver for White Toyota Probox motor car to stop. He complied. The vehicle and its occupants were searched. The police said during the search of the vehicle, the firearm and ammunition were discovered in the front passenger door of the vehicle. The 6 passengers were taken into custody. Their names are being withheld pending further investigations. Dummy charged with burglary, larceny from 2022 incident. A 31-year-old man was slapped with burglary and larceny charges following an incident in his district in Portland back in 2022. He is Devoy Miller, otherwise called Dummy, a laborer of Mavis Bank District, St. Andrew. Reports from the Hope Bay Police are that about 12:40 a.m. on April 30, 2022, a man was at home when he saw Miller removing the door jamb of his bedroom. Miller entered the house, searched the bedrooms, and ran when he saw the owner of the house. A woman who occupied the other bedroom of the house later reportedly discovered that Jamaican, Canadian, and U.S. currencies were missing from her purse. A report was made to the police and Miller was subsequently arrested. He was charged after he was questioned in the presence of his attorney. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government intends to take several steps to improve peace among citizens. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says the government intends to take several steps to improve peace among citizens. He gave the commitment during his Christmas message. According to the Prime Minister, among the steps to be taken are the mobilization of more resources around social and human services and more mental health support. He said while the government will play its part, citizens can make a contribution by being kind to others.
We intend to mobilize more resources around social and human services, more counselors in our schools and communities, more mental health support, greater support for families and family life, more engagement of our youth, a more wholesome public communication, and safer public spaces. However, we do not have to wait on the bureaucracy of government to bring peace to our communities, households, and personal life. We can start right now at Christmas. Showing concern and empathy for persons around you, sharing with those who are in need, and above all, forgiving those who have trespassed against you. These are practical steps that do not require government. It requires a change in our attitude and behavior towards each other. These are indeed the teachings of Christ. Spare a few minutes during the Christmas season to read Christ's prescription for personal peace and salvation in the Gospels. My brothers and sisters, make this Christmas one of reflection and outreach.
A happy sad story. When his companion of 20 years passed while giving birth to his fourth child on November 25th this year, Richard Gordon was a man on the verge of losing it as doctors at Victoria Jubilee Maternity Hospital in Kingston battled to save the life of his daughter Azalea. A month later, on Monday, December 25th, Gordon said he was all cried out, emerged from the same hospital clutching the sleeping infant who was being allowed home for the first time like a lifeline. It's a happy sad story. She is my eyeball, my heart. I can't see and I can't breathe without her. My greatest joy is when I get her. That's the only joy for the year to this whole ordeal, he told reporters, smiling wistfully. The dedicated father said he has already had several bouts of grief brought up by the bittersweet realization that Azalea, who has also been named Nicola in honor of her mother, will have many firsts which will not be witnessed by the mother with whom he had built a life. Sometimes I look at her and cry to know that her mother never got to touch her, she never got to feed her. When I change her for the first time on the ward, I cried. When I feed her for the first time on the ward, I cry to know that her mother didn't get the chance, he said, his voice filled with emotion. He also feels another of grief, of his daughter is yet too young to understand. She is the last daughter, and to know that every time her birthday comes in her mother's memorial, he said before pleading, she will never forget her mother, she will always be loved by me. No matter what it takes, I take care of all my children, but this one here is special, she is so special. Gardner, in reflecting on the approach by himself and his partner in the raising of their other children, paid homage to the woman who, he said, dreamt with him as they navigated life. I lived with her mother for 20 years. We grew 3 nice kids. My daughter graduated with 6 subjects. My son is going to St. Martin High School. My next son goes to Calabar High School. So we did a good job parenting. Not everybody is perfect, but we do what we can to make sure that they have what they didn't have, Gardner said, who was not raised by his father, he told reporters. In the meantime, he also rose the fact that the mother of his children missed out on seeing their dreams of home ownership together, which they had set sights on for 2024, materialized. Right now, I am in the middle of planning her funeral. We did the postmortem on Wednesday. They gave us the burial order to go ahead and do the funeral, but it hurts me. What cuts me, we were saving to buy a house. We said we would save $1 million, so if we get a 10 million house, we have the 10% upfront. And I showed her like a week ago and said I reached 600,000 babes, and she said by March we'll have $1 million garden share. Now I have to use the money to bury her. It hurts me. It hurt me so much. From 2002 we are working. We don't take back any return from National Housing Trust contribution refund because we said when we reach certain age we would have that in place. I can't cry anymore. I cried all out. I have to be there consoling the children, Garden said. The St. Andrew father was presented with a basket of baby products by Kiwanis International in collaboration with Kirk Industries and Answers for Children, had high praises for the medical team that tended their child. Even though her mother gone, I have to give the neonatal unit praises. They did a good job to bring back the baby to life because she was born in real distress, I am telling you. I had to just get all the nurses and doctors and tell them thanks. They would have turned their backs, but the humanitarians that they are, the work that they dedicated to, I appreciate it. They give me follow-on tests to do. I am going to do those and come back March for review. And another thing the doctor says I will do, he said. While still uncertain as to the cause of death of his 36-year-old life companion, God is certain about one thing for now. Me up and running man, me over the baby like Google, he said, cradling his precious bundle of joy and smiling. In the meantime, the heartbroken father had a parting word of advice to other fathers. Once you have it, support your child. Be a father to your child. Once somebody else mentor your child, you already lose the child because the child is going to always listen to who they look up to. So be a role model for your child, he encouraged. Please remember to subscribe, like, share,